the thing that shocked me the most was that the Secret Service and the FBI came, or law enforcement agencies, I'd have to go back and read the transcript to get exactly who it was, essentially conveyed to the White House that the Proud Boys and 3%ers and whatnot, that these guys down at the Washington Monument were armed, and that there were people who were armed at the Ellipse where Trump was going to give his speech. This was 10 o'clock in the morning before his speech started. And they wanted to set up magnetometers because they knew magnetometers are those things that you walk through when you go into the airport, you know, the airport security. They measure if you're carrying metal. And they wanted to set up magnetometers to try to take out the guns, because there were long rifles, there were pistols, there were AR-15s, there were knives, there were spears that had been identified. And when they said to Trump, we're going to put up magnetometers and screen these people, just like, you know, airport security, before they go in, Trump said, no, they're not here to hurt me. In other words, he knew that they were armed. He knew that they were armed with the intent to commit violence. And he knew that the violence was not going to be directed at him. So that, for me, that was probably the biggest bombshell of the morning. Then the second one was, actually there was a series of them, was when Trump, after his speech, well, first of all, during his speech, Cassidy Hutchinson said that she was behind the stage. She couldn't hear what was being said. If you've ever been backstage during a concert or something, you know what she's talking about. And she got a call from Kevin McCarthy over at the Capitol, who had apparently just heard that that Trump had said, we're going to march on the Capitol. And McCarthy was like, you told me you're not going to march on the Capitol. What the hell's going on? This, you know, you lied to me. And she's like, no, we're not going to march to the Capitol. So McCarthy gets off the phone. So then they get in the Beast, which is the presidential limousine. This is, you know, giant presidential bulletproof car. And Trump says, take me to the Capitol. Now, he knows that there are armed people heading to the Capitol. There's a noose, a gallows outside to hang the vice president. There are people there with weapons searching for the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi. Trump knows all this. And he says, take me to the Capitol. I'm assuming, with all the baggage that word carries, but I'm assuming that in that moment he was thinking that this was going to be his Mussolini moment. You will recall, in 1919, for those of you who don't know the history of Mussolini and his movement in Italy, in 1919, Mussolini was this, you know, obscure local politician who had a militia, his own version of the Proud Boys. And when I say Proud Boys, I'm talking about the militia. I'm not talking about horses that have been gelded, which is the you know, how cowboys refer to horses that have had their nuts cut off. They call them Proud Boys. But I'm talking about the militia group. And you know, he knew that they were coming, and he knew that they weren't coming for him. So here you've got Trump in the car, and he starts yelling at the driver, take me to the Capitol. Oh, so Mussolini. What Mussolini did was he had his 300 black shirts, they called them, his Proud Boys. He had his 300 black shirts. They, over the course of the next 3 years, grew to 20,000. He built a militia. And on October 31st, 1922, the last day of October, 1922, Mussolini marched into Rome. They'd already seized several small cities. And they marched into Rome and confronted the king. Italy had a king at the time. And it confronted the king and said, basically, suspend Parliament, and make me the prime minister, or we will attack you. We will attack the city of Rome, and we will attack the presidential palace. And the king said, okay, you're prime minister. And that's how Mussolini became prime minister. And so my assumption is that Donald Trump was thinking, if I can make it to the Capitol, as they're hanging Mike Pence and killing Speaker Pelosi, and the electoral count has been thrown into a disarray, I will stand up on the Speaker's platform and declare martial law and become president for life. Now, as I said, this is my assumption. I don't know what other assumption you can draw from it, though.